Welcome to the web tutorial on the Disability and Use of Time supplement to the panel study of income dynamics. To begin, let's go over what you can expect to learn. This tutorial has 6 parts. We'll begin with a general overview of the PSID, followed by an overview of the Disability and Use of Time supplement, or DUST. We'll continue with more specific information on the DUST interview, time diary, and data structure, as well as accessing the data. We'll start with an overview of the PSID. Begun in 1968, the PSID is the world's longest-running national household panel survey. The PSID has interviewed and re-interviewed families annually from 1968 to 1997 and biennially since 1997. Although the initial focus of the PSID was on family income, content areas have been expanded over time to include health, wealth, and other aging-related content.
As of 2017, the term reference person has replaced head. However, this change is not retroactive. Since both DUST supplements were collected prior to 2017, we will continue to use the term head in this tutorial. Please see the web tutorial, Introduction to the Panel Study of Income Dynamics, if you would like more information about this change.
The Disability and Use of Time, or DUST supplement, adds detailed disability measures and a 24-hour time diary supplement for older adults in the PSID. Using a computer-assisted telephone instrument, each respondent, and if applicable, his or her spouse or partner, are interviewed twice about one randomly selected weekday and one randomly selected weekend day. Within couples, husbands and wives are interviewed separately about the same randomly selected days. The DUST interview also includes measures of experienced well-being and supplemental items on global evaluations of life. 2 waves of DUST have been collected. The first wave was carried out with a sample of older married couples in the 2009 PSID. At least one spouse was age 60 or older and both spouses age 50 or older as of December 31, 2008. Overall, 755 respondents in 361 couples participated. The second wave of DUST was carried out following the 2013 PSID. Participation was offered to households in which a household head or their spouse or partner was age 60 or older as of December 31, 2012. If the household head was married or cohabiting, their spouse or partner was also eligible, irrespective of his or her age. In total, 1,776 individuals were interviewed. DUST 1 and DUST 2 used very similar instruments. Each participant was eligible for 2 diary interviews. The first interview also included questions about well-being, health, and functioning, as well as a time diary. The following slides outline the content of DUST 1 and 2. The interview begins with a section on well-being. Questions focus on satisfaction with life as a whole and with different aspects of life, such as health, memory, work, daily activities, and marriage. Next, respondents reported on impairments and limitations, providing information on whether they have experienced common physical, mental, and sensory impairments in the last 7 days, and if so, how often these impairments interfered with their daily activities. There are 6 disability items that are modeled closely after the American Community Survey's Disability Series, which identifies the population with a disability through the following items: hearing, vision, and mobility limitations, memory and mental functioning, and difficulty with personal care activities and household activities. In the section on assistive devices, respondents were asked whether, in the last 7 days, they used some common devices that allow activities to be carried out more easily, safely, or independently. New in 2013, questions on personality identified 5 personality traits: extroversion, agreeableness, conscientiousness, neuroticism, and openness to experience. Also new in 2013 is a section on self-efficacy and spirituality. The self-efficacy items were used in the earliest years of the PSID and measure how much control a person feels he or she has over his or her life. This section also incorporates questions about spirituality that were developed by the Fetzer Institute. DUST also asks respondents to offer a self-rating of their memory. Respondents were asked to rate how they felt about different aspects of their marriage. In 2013, quality of romantic relationships was added for those with a romantic partner. New in 2013, respondents answered questions about the quality of their relationships with family members other than their spouse, and estimated how many friends they have. Respondents were also asked to identify who in their circle of family and friends they would turn to first if they needed help. The diary covers a 24-hour period, starting with 4 a.m. on the previous day and continuing until 4 a.m. on the morning of the interview. Respondents were asked to report what they were doing and how long it took, as well as other details about the activities. The diary is described in greater detail later in this tutorial. After the diary was completed, the computer randomly selected 3 times of day, and more detailed questions were asked about how a respondent felt while doing the activity occurring during each selected time. Again, we will provide more details about this section shortly. Following the diary, a series of questions asked about care provided yesterday, with separate questions about care given to adults and children. Although available in both ways, this series was redesigned for 2013. Respondents reported if they had a usual routine during the week and on weekends, and whether yesterday was a typical day. This section includes questions regarding how many of the last 7 days the respondent carried out common household chores. For some chores, respondents were also asked about who they did the chore for, and if married or cohabiting, whether they did this because of their spouse or partner's health. DUST also gathered information on how many of the last 7 days respondents participated in a number of activities, such as working for pay, volunteering, socializing with people outside one's home, and the like. Finally, in the closing section of the first interview, DUST asked respondents to once again report how satisfied they were with their life as a whole. The basic diary structure is modeled after the American Time Use Study carried out by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The diary asks about all the activities occurring on the previous day, beginning at 4 a.m. and continuing until 4 a.m. the morning of the interview. Up to 2 diaries for individuals and up to 4 diaries for married or cohabiting couples could be completed. Respondents are asked starting at 4 a.m. what they were doing and for how long or until what time. Additional details are collected depending on the type of activity. For most activities, respondents were asked where they were, who did the activity with them, who else was with them, and how they felt while they were doing the activity, mostly unpleasant, mostly pleasant, or neither. If the activity involved household chores or helping or caring for someone, respondents also reported for whom they were doing the activity. If a respondent was sleeping at the beginning or end of a diary, follow-up questions ascertain the duration and quality of sleep, including the time they went to bed and woke up, time to fall asleep, waking during the night, as well as giving an overall sleep rating. For all who questions, respondents were provided with a list of tailored and generic answers. In 2009 and 2013, tailored answers included household members. In 2013, adult children and parents living outside the respondent's household were added to the tailored lists. Once the 24-hour time diary was complete, DUST collected additional detailed measures of experienced well-being for 3 randomly selected activities. The activities were randomly selected from 3 4-hour windows. Respondents were asked to report about 5 emotions: calm, happy, frustrated, worried, and sad, and 2 symptoms, tired and pain, on a scale from 0 to 6. The DUST data are organized into several files. The DUST user guide provides details on how to link among the various files and to the 2013 main PSID. The first file is a flat respondent level file containing the supplemental questionnaire data. All information from the first and second interview, except the time diaries and interviewer observations, are stored in one flat file. The unit of analysis in this file is the individual respondent. Minimal information about each diary, such as the number of activities in the diary and the day of the week the diary captures, is also stored on the flat file. There are 755 respondents in 2009 and 1,776 in 2013. Approximately 500 respondents were interviewed in both waves. The second is an activity level file which contains the time diary and experienced well-being data. It includes all activities reported in the diaries from both the first and second interview. There are nearly 37,000 activities in 2009 and over 81,000 in 2013. Over 4,000 activities were selected for detailed well-being in 2009, and nearly 10,000 were selected in 2013. The household file identifies all household members of DUST respondents, and the parent-child WHO file identifies each parent unit and adult child of DUST heads and wives. Each file provides some basic information about household or family members, including their relationship to the DUST head and wife and their age. These records can be linked to the FLAT and activity file to identify with whom and for whom activities were carried out. Most household members may also be linked to their individual PSID records, and parents and children may be linked to the roster and transfers files. For further guidance on how to link, see the DUST User's Guide. Finally, an interviewer observation file is provided at the diary level and contains interviewers' reports about the quality of the diaries. These observations can be linked to both the FLAT and activity files. In order to explain how to access the data, let's begin at the PSID's homepage, psid.org.
We will navigate to the Data Selection tab in the menu that appears at the bottom of the PSID banner that runs across the top of the page. Click on the Package Data link, followed by the Main and Supplemental Studies link. The tree on the right side of the page contains zip files for all of the supplemental studies, including DUST 2009 and DUST 2013, DUST 1 and DUST 2, respectively. Select the Disability and Use of Time 2009 option, which will begin the download of the zip file. The zip file contains 4 sets of data files in text format and set up programs to read the data into SAS, SPSS, or Stata. It also contains a codebook for each data file, the DUST box and arrow questionnaires, and a detailed user guide. The DUST data have also been integrated into the Online Data Center. We'll navigate from this page directly to the Online Data Center by clicking on the Data Center link in the Quick Link sidebar, which will bring up options for selecting variables. DUST variables are currently available using the Variable Search, File, and Variable List options. For more information on this, please see the web tutorial, Accessing and Downloading PSID Data.
This web tutorial was produced by Nora Insalera, Vicki Friedman, and Jennifer Kornman with funding from the National Institute on Aging. This ends the web tutorial on the Disability and Use of Time supplement to the PSID. Comments and questions may be sent to psidhelp@umich.edu.